All right, here we go. We're going to work through our second review problem. We're going to work through this one that says write the following equation in slope-intercept form. 4x plus 5y equals negative 30. Okay. Probably the most important part about filling out this question or working through this question is knowing what slope-intercept form is. If we don't know what that is, it's pretty hard to even get started. You will have formula sheet to work through, to look at whenever you're taking your tests or quizzes or any kind of assessment. So you don't have to memorize these formulas, but knowing them will help you work through these questions a little bit more quickly and a little bit more confidently. So first things first, let's write down what our equation is so that we can refer to it as we go. So slope-intercept form, that's just the common one. You see it a lot. We say it a lot in class. Y equals mx plus b, right? And it's called slope-intercept form because it gives us our slope with the letter m here, right? This represents our slope, and the letter b represents our y-intercept. So that's what our slope-intercept form is. So if I look at my formula, y equals mx plus b, compare it to what it gives me, 4x plus 5y equals negative 30, I see that I need to get this y right here all by itself. I need to isolate that y. That means I need to take the 4x and move it from the left side to the right side of the equal sign. And then this 5 that's attached to the y, I need to get rid of that 5 as well. So what are my steps? How do I do this? Again, these are review questions. We are just going to be remembering some of the steps that we were taking when it comes to solving equations. So I have a positive 4x on the left side of the equal sign. I want to move that 4x over to the right. The first thing I need to do before I can move it over to the right is get rid of it on the left. So if I have a positive 4x, I can get rid of that by subtracting 4x. Positive 4x minus 4x makes a 0. Those go away. That's what I want because ultimately I'm trying to get this y right here all alone, all by itself. Because there's an equal sign in the middle here, whatever I do on one side of the equation, I have to do to the other side of the equation. So if I'm subtracting 4x from the left, that means I have to subtract 4x from the right. Now, on the left side of my equal sign, my 4x has disappeared. I have 5y. That still remains. I have my equal sign. Now I cannot subtract 4 from negative 30 because that negative 30 does not have an x on it. So I can't say negative 30 minus 4 and get negative 34x. That's incorrect. If I can't subtract them from one another, I can just rewrite them just as they are. I'm always going to write my x term first. I'm going to write this one first because my final answer has my x coming first. If you write negative 30 minus 4x, that's not incorrect. It's just backwards from how it's going to look in our final version. So negative 4x minus 30, right? I can't subtract those two, so I write them on their own. I want y by itself. I'm not moving 5y from the left to the right. I just want to get rid of the 5. I want to make that 5 a 1. How can I make a 5 into a 1? Well, if I divide that 5, let's look on our calculator. If I take 5 and I divide it by 5, I get 1, and that's what I want. I want to turn that 5 into a 1, so I'm going to divide it by 5 so that I have 1y. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get 1y. What I do on one side of the equal sign, I have to do to the other. Divide by 5. Everything is going to get divided by 5. So my negative 4 and my negative 30. Both things are getting divided by 5. On the left, I have y. equals -4 divided by 5. If I do that in the calculator, I'm going to get a decimal. And I don't want that. -4 divided by 5 is going to be 0.8. I don't want a decimal. If I end up with a decimal, I'm just going to leave my answer as a fraction. -4 over 5x. -30 divided by 5. If you're not confident in your mental math, punch it in the calculator. -30 divided by 5 equals -6 minus 6. So I have y equals -4 over 5x minus 6. Now, it says to graph the line represented by the equation on the left. Well, slope-intercept form, we already said it's our slope and our y-intercept. So the first place I'm going to start, remember in class we told you the B stands for the beginning, right? It's the y-intercept. That's where we begin. So I'm going to go to -6 on my y-axis, and I'm going to put a dot for my starting point. So that -6, I come over on my graph, and I count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I put a point. Now I look at my slope. My slope says I should be going down 4 and to the right 5. Right? Because slope is rise over run, I have -4 over 5. I don't have room to go down 4 on my graph. So I can do the opposite of what this says. Instead of down 4 and to the right 5, I can go up 4 and to the left 5. So if I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I put my second point. I draw a line going through both points off the graph, and I put arrows on the end of my graph showing that this line goes on forever and ever in either direction. That line that I just drew has a negative slope. It's going downhill from left to right. So when I go back and look at my equation, that's correct. I have -4 over 5. It's a good thing, good habit to get into. Always double check yourself. So that's it. That's our second review problem. We'll be working through the rest of them in further videos. If you have questions about this, you're not sure why I did something, it doesn't make sense, make sure you ask me in class or ask your teacher. Otherwise, we will see you next time in class.